The summer sun poured through the grand glass windows of the Grant estate, but behind the gleaming panes, silence weighed heavier than stone. Little Sophia Grant, dressed in delicate lavender dresses and polished shoes, often sat motionless in her chair, with oversized green headphones clamped around her ears, a fragile image of innocence to any stranger who glanced her way. But to her father, Alexander Grant, a powerful millionaire whose name carried authority in every boardroom in the city, she was not simply a child. She was, in his mind, broken. Alexander had convinced himself, or rather chosen to believe, that his only daughter was deaf. Doctors had urged further testing, speech therapists had raised questions, but Alexander, consumed by pride and a stubborn need for control, dismissed them all. His empire thrived on his unbending decisions, and in his arrogance, he let the same rigidity shape his daughter's life. The mansion echoed with wealth, crystal chandeliers, rare paintings, staff hurrying through polished corridors, but not once did laughter echo from Sophia's small lips. Into this world stepped Elena Marquez, the new nanny, who arrived one bright morning not only with her professional experience, but with a quiet heart trained to notice the small truths hidden in silence. Eleanor had worked with children burdened by trauma before, and she knew that silence was not always what it seemed. The first time she met Sophia, she caught details others had ignored. The little girl's gaze darted instantly toward a bird landing on the terrace rail. When Elena accidentally dropped a wooden block, Sophia's pupils flickered with awareness. These were not the blank eyes of someone cut off from sound. These were the restless, hungry eyes of a child, forced to live behind a curtain of stillness. Over the days that followed, Elena gently tested her suspicions. She clapped her hands softly behind Sophia, and though the child didn't turn, her fingers twitched nervously in her lap. She hummed a lullaby as she dusted the shelves, and though Sophia remained outwardly still, Elena noticed her lips tremble faintly, as though recalling the forgotten shape of sound. The more Elena observed, the more certain she became. Sophia wasn't deaf. She had been taught, conditioned, not to respond. And that realization chilled her because it meant the silence was not nature's doing, but the result of neglect and fear. Meanwhile, Alexander remained wrapped in the distractions of his empire, hosting guests with champagne and contracts while his daughter drifted like a shadow in his halls. Each time Elena attempted to share her concerns, his cold authority shut her down. "Don't waste your time," he snapped once, dismissing her compassion with a flick of his hand. "She doesn't hear you. Stop torturing her with false hope." But Elena knew it wasn't Sophia who was being tortured. It was the little girl's desperate spirit, smothered by her father's refusal to see her truth. Night after night, Elena would sit by Sophia's bedside, whispering soft stories as if planting seeds in barren soil, praying the girl would one day dare to answer. And then, one golden afternoon, a spark broke through. Elena was kneeling nearby, polishing the floor, when she heard it, the faint hum of a melody escaping Sophia's lips. It was the same lullaby Elena had sung the night before. Elena's heart leapt. She leaned closer and whispered the tune, and Sophia's lips moved again, shaping the faintest sound. Tears filled Elena's eyes. The child remembered, the child responded, the child had a voice. From that moment, Elena worked carefully, every day coaxing Sophia with claps, rhythms, and the tender repetition of her name. Slowly, the little girl's courage grew. And then came the day fate forced the truth into the open. Alexander arrived home earlier than expected, the sharp click of his expensive shoes echoing against marble floors. He stopped, stunned, in the doorway, where Eleanor sat kneeling before Sophia, gently removing the ever-present headphones. Sophia looked up with wide eyes filled with trust and whispered a fragile word: "Song." Alexander staggered back as though struck, his face draining of color. For the first time in years he had heard his daughter's voice. His pride roared in denial, accusing Elena of trickery, of manipulating a child too fragile to know better. But then Sophia, trembling with both fear and bravery, whispered again, tears streaming down her cheeks, and something inside Alexander cracked. The man who bent markets to his will, who commanded every room he entered, dropped to his knees before his tiny daughter, realizing the cruelty of his blindness. The silence he had believed in all those years had not been hers. It had been his failure, his refusal to listen, his pride that had silenced her. From that day forward, the Grant mansion began to change. The suffocating headphones disappeared. Music, laughter, and soft words filled the corridors once barren of joy. Therapists returned, but this time with Alexander's full support and presence. He sat beside Sophia through every session, fumbling awkwardly but present, apologizing with his clumsy words and unsteady hands. With Elena's steadfast guidance, Sophia bloomed slowly, her voice fragile but determined, her confidence rising as her father shed his arrogance for humility. And though progress came step by step, it came with warmth and hope, transforming not only Sophia's life, but Alexander's hardened heart. Eleanor never sought recognition, never boasted of what she uncovered. Her reward was found in Sophia's smile, in the soft moments when the girl dared to sing with her. The cruel truth had not simply restored a child's voice, it had given a father back his soul. In the end, Alexander's wealth could never have purchased what kindness and patience had given freely. The sound of hope, the sound of love, the sound of a little girl finally being heard.